How'd you meet?
I met Ronnie through a mutual friend. I was staying with my best friend, and she was dating a friend of his, and he brought Ronnie over. Well, Ronnie brought him over to meet my friend, and they spilled something in the car, and I never forget. Ronnie came up to the door, and I was actually, as I was walking up to open the door, I had my back turned. So by the time I made it to the door, I was still talking to my sister. So by the time I turned around, him and another one of his friends was just sitting there. And so I said, "Can I help you?" And his friend nudged him. And he was like, I spilled something in the car. Shonda sent me up to get a towel. I said, okay. So I ran to the closet and got him a towel. And, you know, from that day on, he had been reaching out to my best friend, telling my best friend, "Hey, I like your friend. You know, I want to talk to her. Can you let her know?" And I had just recently got out of a relationship, so I wasn't looking to get into another one. So I kind of shunned them all. But one day my car ended up messing up on me, and he knew how to fix on cars. And I had called my best friend. I said, "Hey, I'm stranded. Can you see if you can get somebody to come by and help me?" And she ended up calling him. And so he came out, and pretty much ever since then, it's been me and him, 10 years.
So did you know it when you saw him?
Not at the moment, but he told me that he did.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he did.
Wow.
He told me that's the reason why he was pretty much just kind of in the daze. And the reason why his friend has to nudge him, because he pretty much knew that I was going to be his wife. And I was like, really? Okay.
I think we can all say we've had those moments where we need to be nudged, right? And he was the handyman, so he could fix your car.
Yeah.
It all worked out.
It worked out. It sure did.
Tell me about the family that you created together.
You know, ever since I can remember, young girl, I've always been a praying person. And growing up until it all came about, my prayer was, "Lord, let me graduate high school. Let me go to college and get a degree. Let me marry and then have 2 children. Let me have a boy and a girl." And all of that came about in that order. I had a little boy and a little girl. I had my little girl first. She's 4 years old. Her name is Ronnie Shumpert. I had a little boy. He's 3 years old, and he was named after his dad.
So he's a junior?
He's a junior,
Okay.
yes.
Tell me the name of your daughter again?
Ronnie Shumpert.
Sayana.
Mm-hmm.
Spell that for me.
Sayyanna.
Okay. And so she's 4 and he's
3.
3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How are they doing now?
They're not doing so good now. At one point where, you know, my kids just used to be just like smiling all the time. They were just happy, you know. Now they're actually, my son is having nightmares, and he's like pretty much just kicking and screaming in his sleep, saying, "No, Daddy, my daughter, she's just, it seems like she's upset, but she doesn't know how to come and just really just talk about it." She talks about it, Dad. She's like, "Mama, you remember when this and that," but she's acting out in ways that I just have never seen before, even at the age 4, you know. And my son and my daughter, they're both terrified of the police. Every time they see a policeman now, they're like, "Mama, it's the police. You know, they're going to shoot us." And they know about what's all going on because it's so wrapped around, you know. It's just like a everyday ongoing thing. We constantly relive the day that, you know, my uncle came to the house and told us that Ronnie had been shot and killed by a policeman. So it's like there's no escaping it. And so they're having to go to therapy and just kind of just like talk and kind of pick their brains because, you know, they come to me and they say things like, Mama, why the police shoot my daddy? And I can't really answer that question because I'm not comfortable with, I don't know why they did what they did. So it's hard for me to talk to my kids about this situation when ever since that it's been going on, it's like, wait. We have to wait to find out what happened, you know? And I'm like, we just don't have any answers. And then with, you know, everything with the newspaper articles and with people, you know, bashing and, you know, it's just like, I'm to the point where I'm like, my God, when is it going to end? It's so much insult to injury. He's already gone. When is it going to end? I don't have a problem with death. I know that at some point everybody has to die. But what I do have a problem with is the man that I've been knowing for 10 years, that I know wouldn't hurt a fly, had to leave the way that he left by people who were supposed to serve and protect. How do you explain that to a 3 and 4-year-old? I have no words for that.
Are you, can you,
I know.
what was his feeling about police before he left us? How did he feel about it?
We stayed in Mississippi all our lives. And there's always been a little harassment here and a little harassment there.
What do you mean?
With them just pulling people over for really no reason at all. You know, feel like they often did ticket stacking. And so we didn't have we didn't hate policemen. We always respected them. I always gave them respect. So as far as his thoughts towards policemen, they're policemen. They're here to protect and serve. But did we always feel like they did that? No.
You mentioned harassing, you know, here and there. You lived in Mississippi all your life. Do you think it's just, from your perspective, the way that it is?
Do I feel like it's the way that it is?
Yeah, just, you know, and there's really, I almost feel helpless in even attempting to raise a voice or try to change things because of the way that our history has been from, you know, the very, very earliest days of this country.
Even though there's been an outbreak of police brutality, I don't feel like that it goes on everywhere. But do I feel like in Mississippi that they abuse their authority? Yes.
Do you or did he ever feel like, since you say you're, you know, pulled over, tickets here and there, or a little harassment here or there, that you may have been in the past the target of, let's say, racial profiling?
Do I feel like I was a target of racial profiling?
Or he. Did he ever mention that at all?
No.
No?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
We never just really talked about it much, but I mean, when we did, it was just mostly, you know, we felt like there was harassment in the city.
In the city of Tupelo?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How long have you lived in the city?
I've been here all my life.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
As I was just speaking with his mom, and she said that the city has really never reached out. Do you feel the same?
Mm-hmm. They haven't. And like I said before, I feel like it's insult to injury because you sit there, you shake my mom-in-law hand, and you tell her that she has your deepest sympathy, and then you turn around. And if it was in investigation, why would you turn around and say that it's justified? But she has your deepest sympathy, and you would do all that you can do. My thing, you would think that he would let the investigation go through first. Even if that's your thoughts, you would let the investigation go through first.
Well, since they haven't reached out, and I guess things have, I would assume that kind of been pieced together about what actually happened. What do you think happened?
What do I actually think happened that night?
Yes, ma'am.
Honestly, from hearing from the guy that was with him, Charles Foster, when he said that he heard a gunshot, not even minutes before he took off running, I feel like that gunshot might have pierced right then and there, because it's kind of strange that you got one gunshot here and all the rest of them are up here. So I feel like that gunshot right there might have hit, that first one that they released might have hit right then and there. And you know, I'm not an investigator. I don't really know how it actually happened. But to say that my husband was on him, repeatedly beating him, no. I don't believe that at all. So I don't really know exactly how it went down, but I can definitely say that I feel like that it was extreme force. His teeth kicked in. The laceration under his eye, the bruising to his nose. Now, you tell me that he was on top of the officer beating him, but my husband suffered way more injuries than I seen that the officer had. So to me, the officer had the upper hand from the beginning.
Do you think there may have been more than one officer involved in that because of the injuries received?
Yeah, I do.
And would that be after the fact?
After the fact, whether more than one officer was involved after?
No, maybe I'm not being clear. After he was shot.
Do I feel like more than one officer was involved? Well, which shot? The first one, the second one, the third one, or the fourth one?
I'm more talking more specifically about the injuries that he had received, or they claimed that he suffered during this, because it would seem that there was some type of injury, like you were describing. You know, there were injuries to his face, his teeth, his groin area. But did all of that take place after the shooting or before the shooting? You see what I mean?
I can't answer that question,
All right.
you know, but I do feel like that some injuries did take place after the shooting.
Yeah, that's what I was getting.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to readjust just for a moment. Bear with me, please. I think there was also part of the report that he injured the dog because there was a canine with him.
You know, that story is just, it's a clown story. That's what it is. You try to play the viewers as if the public as if we just ignorant. You tell us that the dog didn't have any teeth. Well, what good is he? All he has is his paws and his teeth. So what good is it? What you gonna have him for? It's a clown story. So anything that they have to say, it's like from this point, you know, you guys were put here to protect and serve, and don't get me wrong, it's not that I have anything against policemen, because even still to this day, I make sure I show them respect. I want my kids to still show policemen respect, even though they're terrified of them. I have to explain to them. They ask every policeman they see, Mama, is that the policeman that shot my daddy? No, baby, that's not them. That's not him. That's not her. And it's hard to kind of explain that to a 3 and 4-year-old. But saying that we don't even have to elaborate on that. It's a clown story.
The MBI investigated. They said everything was, or the officer didn't do anything wrong. When you heard that, what was going through your mind?
When they said that the officer didn't do anything wrong, when they said they stood behind the officer, it's just like it's like we're not dealing with even human beings here. That's how I feel. How can you look at all the things that was done, even the officer being present as he was doing it, but you say that they didn't do anything wrong? Like my mom said, why don't you put your sibling or your relative in the midst of this? And let's just see, was anything done wrong? Would you still feel the same way? Not at all. No doubt about it. You know these are wrongful acts. You know that what was done is wrong. And I feel like you're so much more up on your position than you are serving. That's why you want to say that nothing was done wrong. But I was listening to a song the other day. Because, now it just seems like life is a blur now. Where I once had goals and dreams with my husband and, us as a family. Now, I don't know. So I was listening to this song. You have to pray sometime to find comfort. You have to look at pictures sometime to find comfort. And the name of the song was You're Bigger by Jacqueline Carr. And so I know God is bigger. He's bigger than death. He's bigger than the negativity that's going on right now. So though you feel like you're getting by, I serve a God that's way bigger. And I guarantee you, you're not getting by. You're not getting by whatsoever. Because if they don't get you on this side, I guarantee you, my God in heaven will. And that's who I have trust in now. And who I've always had trust in.
What would you like to see happen?
I want to see the men that are responsible for this, the people that are responsible for this. They need to go to prison. If it was anybody else, they'll be already gone. But because you got a badge and you got people that's standing behind you, you're out running free. You're still able to be active with your family. They need to do what's right here. And he needs to go to prison, or who all that was involved needs to go to prison. And even with the dog, a dog on the street is put down if they bite somebody. I believe K9 Alec, as they refer to him, needs to be put down. And I would like for the person that's responsible for it to come forth. Come forth and admit you're wrong. That means more than anything. If you would just come forth and admit you're wrong. That's what I need. That's what I really need.
You were talking about your faith just a moment ago. How's that helped you? And also, has the rallies in the community shown support to your family, and what has happened? How does that comfort you, or
It does. It comforts a great bit to see that, you know, we're not just acting out because it's a loved one. We're acting out because it was wrong. And for the community to get involved as well, they see as well that it was wrong. So we're very appreciative with the community getting involved. And right now, if it weren't for God and my faith, I don't know where I would be at right now. Because there's times where it just feels like I can't even breathe. I literally had to last night just get on my knees and cry out to God. Because I felt like walls were closing in on me. I said, God, this is not me. I know I'm a loving person. But all I find myself doing now is in my room, trying to sleep away what has happened. It's better when I'm asleep. Because when I have to wake up, I realize that the very thing that happened the day before is still going on. So I'd rather sleep. But I have to smile in front of my babies to give them life. But right now I don't even feel like I have life. It literally felt like that my heart was just, it was just closing or something. And so once I finished crying out to God, I'm so glad that there's a 24-hour hotline. 24-hour open line, whenever I need to, I can go to him. Because that's what my true comfort is. So I don't know where I would be at right now if it weren't for God and being able to go to him, saying, God, help me.
But you have to be strong for them.
I have to be strong for them. Because if they see me crying, they be like, Mama, why are you crying? And I guess I can't be strong all the time. So I have cried in front of them. And my daughter comes to me, she said, Mom, why you crying? You crying for my daddy. So it's hard. And I try, the majority of the time, I try to go about my day. But the kids know. They know that something is different. My son constantly tries to come and just makes me laugh. And he's only 3. But I don't have a reason to smile about anything anymore. My life was my husband for 10 years. I met him when I was like 19. So that's all I knew was me and him. So now it's trying to adjust to what now? How to be able to provide, cook, clean, and tend to the children by myself. Where at one point, where I was cooking, Daddy had the children. He made sure that,
You do have the family support system, the extended family support
Oh,
system.
yeah, most definitely. Yes. I have them, but, they're working, and so they can't be available 24 hours a day. So when it's just me and the kids, a lot of times I'm always resorting back to, when my husband was here.
Let me just switch gears here with you for a moment. Do you mind if I ask about the civil suit? Sure. The question is, what is the intention of this civil suit? What would you like to see the outcome of that be? Is that fair? Okay. That's my next question.
The outcome of the civil suit. I feel like that really, it's not like it's gonna bring them back. Outcome of the civil suit, I feel like that they should, comfort the family in any way possible that they can. Because this was wrong, and you took somebody from us that meant so much to us. If you could bring him back, that would be awesome. But the fact of the matter is you can't. You can't do it. And so I don't really have any words for the outcome of the suit.
So it sounds to me like it's more to get the city to take responsibility for what has occurred.
Yes.
Okay. Let me ask you also another question. There has been a lot of media coverage about this story, mostly in the Tupelo area and in parts of Mississippi. Have you been monitoring that, and also, what are your impressions of the way this situation has been covered by media, and also, are you surprised that it hasn't gotten as much attention as some of the other very similar situations that have occurred in other parts of the country where there has been tremendous media attention and reaction from the community, especially the Black community?
When it seemed like it started to be so much backlash towards my husband, I stopped tuning in to the newspapers and to the news. And I asked my bishop if there was any information that I really needed to know, if he would relay it to me. I feel like some of the media has done a great job with putting our story out there. There was one that kind of concerned me because he came and interviewed me, but I don't feel like he put anything in there that I had to say. So I was like, what was the purpose? But on the other hand, there has been some that, took our story and portrayed it great. So with the media, I feel like the majority they've done good at portraying the story.
You've spoken twice in our conversation about a backlash or bashing.
Mm-hmm.
What's that all about?
I wish I knew what it was all about.
What form does it take? Is it social media, or what is this? Does it come from the city, or people that are?
So it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
A little bit of both.
Can you give me an example?
Well, I felt like they wanted to bring up the warrant after they killed him.
The what?
A warrant.
Warrant? What was the warrant for?
I honestly, you remember what the warrant was on?
But that wasn't the reason why it was a pursuit.
Yeah, it was a pursuit. They didn't know anything about a warrant or anything like that, and it's like, I feel like that they were trying to make him seem like, because there was something I also put in the paper as if like, he was a bad person anyway, so he needed to be removed. Yes. So that's why I had got to the point where I stopped paying attention to.
Wait, that was actually in the newspaper?
It wasn't said in those words.
Oh, you're just.
But that's how it was kind of portrayed. And then you had social media that had, people that I think were also law enforcement that had things to say. Now, I don't know if there were the people that were involved, but there were a lot of social media backlashing. So I kind of excused myself from that. The things that I needed to know, I left it up to my bishop, and he's done that.
What else would you like to tell our viewers that are going to be watching this, whether it's on television or on the internet, once we post this interview in the next few weeks? What would you like them to know?
There's been a lot of talk about racism. And let me just clear this up right now. We're not racist by any means. I love all race. I have friends that are all race. So we're not racist. But if you guys would just see the bigger picture here, that this what was done was wrong. Plain and simple as that one word, wrong. So for the ones that standing against us, we love you too. That's it.
Thank you for sharing your story with us. We do appreciate it.